Hello, everyone, and welcome to iReadit, bringing you your daily dose of the internet nope, it's a weekly dose of the internet, and it is Sunday, December 30th, 2018. There is a day and a half left of the year. My name is Michael Schwan.
And I am a meat-flavored popsicle.
I don't know that reference either.
Fifth Element.
Oh, sure. But they don't actually ever call themselves a meat-flavored popsicle, do they?
At one point, Bruce, Bruce Willis's character calls himself a meat-flavored popsicle.
Oh, okay. In any case, please remember, everyone, you can help support the show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet, picking up some of our merchandise in the link below, as well as getting in contact with us and telling us what you want us to talk about. You can do that by going to Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or Reddit, all of which are at iRedditCast. So, Mr. Meat Flavored Popsicle, how are you?
I'm really tired.
Yeah.
Oh, God, there's my alarm to wake up in case I'm still asleep.
Well, I'm glad you're awake, sir.
Barely.
You're
Playing
conscious?
video games.
Wait,
I didn't get coffee because I opted to sleep until I can, knowingly know that I can't sleep anymore.
Sure. What were you all up all night playing?
I was playing Slay the Spire.
Cool.
Oh, God damn it.
Stop it. You're making me yawn.
All right, guys, it's canceled. We're just going to sleep.
This is the we'll move the stream to Twitch and go to just chatting and just make it a nap room.
It'll just be me sleeping.
People taking naps the whole time.
I like it.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously.
Heads down, best idea.
Did you have a good Christmas, sir?
It's pretty good. It's all right.
Yeah.
Hung out with my parents. That's really about it.
You have big New Year's plans?
No. It's just another day.
Yeah, it's about the same here. We're gonna go see the fireworks downtown on New Year's Eve, but they happen at 8 p.m. So.
That's lame.
No, it's awesome because it's one, pitch black in Alaska at 8 p.m. on New Year's, and two, it means you get to go home.
No, it means you still have to be somewhere, though.
I mean, you don't have to.
Sure. I guess.
But we like fireworks and we have a kid, so. You know.
I guess that works.
You guess that works. Oh, lordy lord. Well, do you want to just jump right into the news, sir?
Yeah, I need to go to sleep before playing more Slay the Spire.
You got it, buddy. We'll jump right into things.
Gosh, that fucking thing is so good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Hang on, let me check if it's one of the games that I ended up picking up because I don't remember. Slay. No, I don't have Slay the Spire. I think it's on my wish list though. Let me look. It might have just not been on sale enough. Yeah, it is. It's still on my wish list.
Neat.
I'm glad it's good though. That's good.
Yeah, it's real good.
All right then. I will copy this and I'm gonna paste it down into that little boxy do there. There we go. All right. And I was trying to let the iPad charge a bit. We're using the iPad now for D&D, so it dies a lot more often.
Nice.
10.
Keep it permanently plugged in.
Yeah, I normally do, but I just didn't. So anyway, China imports 0 United States soybeans in November for the first time since trade war started.
This is submitted by Michigan Vulgarian to our news.
I need to adjust some things. How do I adjust some things? Here we go.
You do it very carefully.
Very carefully.
With a pointer from your mouse.
Maybe subtly. Anyway. In any case, so with the heavy tariffs that have been going on between the United States and China, both countries have done nothing but lose when it comes to these tariffs in this trade war. And literally, like, billions and billions of dollars are being lost. Traditionally, there is $12 billion worth of soybeans that are... Wait, what happened? Hang on, 1 second. Okay, anyway, there's traditionally $12 billion worth of soybeans between the United States and China in 2017, but in November they bought literally none.
Which is important to note because they eat a lot of tofu.
The vast majority of the soybeans actually aren't for them to consume. It's for their livestock and stuff to consume.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But they purchased a whopping 67,000 tons in November. And wait, no. They normally purchase 4.7 million tons, and we're down to 67,000 tons. And then just last month, we're like, no, we're just not going to buy any.
Well, I mean, when it's more expensive to buy at one place than at another, and they have the same quality stuff, it's a clear example of what you should be spending your money on.
Yeah, they were getting a lot of it from Brazil, but because both countries are doing nothing but losing money, they actually agreed to a truce on the trade war on the 1st of the month, and Beijing resumed buying soybean cargoes, but that they also kind of had to because Brazilian crops have a very specific rotation for their growing cycle, so there wasn't as much for them to buy from Brazil.
Neat. All right, that's kind of cool, though.
And they were like, well, if we want to still be able to get some, we're going to have to get some from you.
Well, I see the trade war is thriving.
No, it's awful. It's
slash S.
It's doing nothing for anybody.
Yeah, it's ruining a bunch of lives.
See, the thing is that tariffs like that only work if the exact same amount of product still goes through.
Yeah, with it going down to 0, tariffs don't work.
Yeah, now you're not getting any money. Congratulations.
Yeah, you just shot yourself in the foot.
Like I hope that goes well for you.
It's a bold strategy. Let's see how it pays off.
It didn't at all, actually. It cost money.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it did.
9.
Will Ferrell was originally afraid Elf would ruin his career, fearing it was too over the top and risky.
This is submitted by Bunyip Pouch Tower Movies.
Well,
Little did he know.
Little did he know.
It was actually Watson.
Well,
Holmes and Watson.
he was concerned about it in the very beginning, and so was the dude who plays his dad, whose name I can't remember at all right now. James Caan, that's his name. And the reason is that they, when a movie is filmed, they film it in whatever order is easiest for them to film. Films are not filmed from the first scene to the last scene. Sometimes you'll film the last scene 30% of the way through shooting, and then the beginning.
Especially if you're renting places out, you'll find a spot that, you know, is common in a lot of the scenes of your movies. You'll record all of those scenes there, you know, within the next couple days, and then from there you just move on and never touch that place again.
Such as in the case of Elf, the streets of New York City.
Yep.
And they got access to the streets of New York and approved to do the shooting early, and so they shot those scenes first.
Yep.
And so
as do most movies.
Yeah, and so the first scenes that Will Ferrell had as Elf, he was this, you know, goofy, crazy dude running around in yellow tights on the streets of New York. And originally he's like, man, I don't know if this is going to go over so well. He's like, I feel like a dipshit.
He's like, oh no, my career.
Now, like, a lot of other people were very confident in the film, but he was not for the longest time. And both him and the character who plays his dad, James Caan, they weren't even sure about the film until they saw it on screen. And then they were both like, no, this actually comes across very endearing. It's a very sweet film. But definitely during filming, they're like,
Actually, for most movies, a lot of their actors will have that kind of mentality where they think they know what's going to happen in the movie. They think they know how the movie's going to be. But then, I mean, it has to go through the editing floor. So
and get cut and cut and cut and cut.
Yeah, oftentimes we'll get a completely different movie than what you had filmed.
That's like, I'm really, you know what surprises me, Nathan? While we're talking about movies?
The sudden influx of wind into the vacuum machine when you first turn it on.
No, that has nothing to do with movies.
No, but it was something that you were afraid of.
No, but I was fucking scared as shit of the vacuum. Not the vacuum. Was it a vacuum in Brave Little Toaster?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. Anyway,
I'm too tired for that.
yeah, me too. Anyway, so we're gonna go pretty far in the past for a moment here, and we're gonna talk about Lord of the Rings and just how exceptional the extended editions of those movies are, because they were
5
able.
hours a piece.
Yeah, but they were able to shove all of this content that didn't make it into the theatrical release, a lot of it, which is fantastic. We have not seen, to my surprise, any director's cut or extended editions of any of the Marvel movies.
Yep.
I'm surprised. And the reason that this came up is because reportedly they're having trouble cutting the last Avengers movie, Avengers Endgame, to get it below 3 hours in runtime.
Why?
Why? I don't know. I mean, I can.
Why are you trying so hard? Just release what the people fucking want.
Well, and that's the thing, is that like they clearly have a shitload of footage that they all want to use. It surprises me that we haven't seen anything like a director's release or extended cut for any of the other movies.
There's supposed to be a Snyder cut for the DC side, but
Yeah, I'm just surprised, I guess.
yeah, I guess I can agree with you there. It is kind of weird.
Maybe it's a Disney thing?
Yeah, they see how George Lucas constantly recut his movies, and they're like, yeah, let's not do that with Star Wars or anything else.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. McLaughlin in the chat room says they'll take a 3-hour movie. Yeah, I'm down. I think that if we're like, I don't mind if we start getting into the realm of having 3-hour and even 4-hour movies again, but we also need to bring back the intermission.
Yeah, the intermission was a very important part of those old-timey movies.
Like at the 2-hour mark or an hour and a half mark, drop in an intermission, let people go pee and come back.
Or get food.
Yeah, give them 15 minutes to go buy a second bowl of popcorn.
Or refill your first, because oftentimes you get a free refill.
Because let's face it, if you're going to pay $5.50 or $7 for a soda, you're going to buy the $7 one that comes with a free refill.
Yep.
Yep.
That's how they get you.
It is how they get you. It's absolutely how they get you. But yeah, seriously, like we need to have that again. Get that,
absolutely.
Get that stupid ass song back. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Have some fucking shitty ass little.
That reminds me of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
McLaughlin says, or just put toilets in the seats.
So they had when the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie was first coming out, they had a bit in theaters where it was, the whole let's all go to the lobby bit.
Yeah.
But it had like a metal gumdrop because it had music played by Mastodon, and it was fucking awesome. And it's called Linoleum Knife.
Noted.
If you've never seen it, I suggest it because it is fucking hilarious.
Oh man. 8. Contrary to predictions, teen marijuana use declined in Washington state after recreation pot was legalized in 2012.
It was submitted by Mavia to our science. Suck it.
And it seems to depend on age mostly, because the amount of marijuana use in 8th graders fell more than 10% to just over 7%. 10th grade pot declined from nearly 20% to less than 18%, but as they get older, the amount of change gets smaller. There was no change in 12th graders.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like a lot of the younger ones are like, oh man, it's not illegal, so it doesn't fucking matter anymore.
It's not cool. Doesn't make me edgy.
Exactly. And I mean, that's all that teenagers want.
Guys, does this make me look cool? Do I look cool?
I want to be an adult. I want to be edgy.
Just makes me think of that Vine of that like 14-year-old that has like his dad's bottle of Sky vodka, and he's trying to be all like thug and pimpin', and then he like takes a big old swig off the bottle and just drops it. It's like, oh!
Yeah, I remember that. That's a good one.
Because
classic.
Yeah, it is, and it's like, yeah, you're trying to be cool, but you don't realize what you're about to do, son. Oh, there you go. Well, you probably won't do that ever again.
Not even I will do that willingly.
Yeah, just straight from a bottle of Sky vodka.
That's just too much. That's how you die, dude.
You're just asking for a bad time.
Yeah, no, that is how you wake up next to the bottle itself.
Like, and to understand any 14-year-olds that might be watching this, you don't drink because it's cool. You drink because you have adult problems that you want to forget for a little while.
Yeah, all these kids don't even understand why we drink. We drink to forget, you assholes. Just knock it off.
Yeah, it's not to be cool. It's to have a slightly better night.
Yeah, just slightly better.
It's to try and help you forget some of the depression of the things that you can't afford and your ever-growing mountain of debt.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
It's a vice. It's not something.
I'll tell you what, kids. It never stops.
McLaughlin Alpha says that's how you wake up with the bottle.
I'll tell you what.
In the bottle.
Sometimes you wake up with the bottle. Sometimes you wake up in the bottle. But either way, you're crawling out of it.
Maybe. Or someone is lifting you into the bathtub.
Yeah.
If you have good friends around, anyway.
I mean, you can't quite. All right, so like if you have your dick in a bottle, you cannot take a bath with regular. You can't. You just can't hop in the bathtub. It's a very bad idea.
I wasn't thinking about a penis being in the bottle, but sure.
Oh, see, I'm really tired, and we were talking about being in the bottle, so I figured that's your dick's in the bottle.
Oh.
And you don't want to take a bath with that because all of that water is gonna like soak up into your dick.
So you instead throw yourself into the freezer to shrinkage so that you can get it out?
No, what you gotta do.
See, even McLaughlin's confused about dick in a bottle.
See, what you gotta do. See, all right, this is because of you, Joseph. You said that's how you wake up in the bottle. How is you waking up in the bottle? You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, what you got to do is you got to get a knife and get it real hot. And it's pretty easy to get off.
This is not the BME Pain Olympics.
I mean, it can be.
I'm moving on now.
7.
The clean plate mentality drives us to overeat. New research explores our tendency to overeat when we only have a little bit of food left over.
This is submitted by Maviatar Science.
So basically, let me sum this up for you. Stop eating when you're almost full. Not when you're full, when you're almost full.
No, gorge yourself.
And if there's food left on the plate, get a to-go box and then eat that later.
You walk away from that table filled with not just food but regret.
No, that is specifically reserved for things like Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner.
I did not hear you say every meal.
It is not every meal.
That is it is every meal.
So what this study
That's
basically
how I
finds
was raised, and I'm not messed up. Look at me.
Is that the concept around like not leaving anything left on the plate, or especially like if there's only one piece of pizza left, one cookie left, you're like, I'll just eat the one piece. That way we don't have to worry about it. When you're already full, the negative effects on your body from eating more are insanely bad for you. Like, it is really bad for you to overeat. It is extremely bad for you to overeat. And the most common cause of overeating is when you are trying to clean your plate so that you're not feeling wasteful, or you were raised like, we don't have a lot of food, you need to eat everything there. It's a really bad mentality to put into somebody because it does cause them to overeat. Instead, stick it in a piece of Tupperware, wrap it in plastic wrap, wrap it in tin foil, whatever you need to do, stick it in the fridge and just eat it later. And same thing for at restaurants. If something is left over, let it be left over and eat it later, because otherwise you're just causing yourself extremely negative health concerns.
Like as much health concerns as having a dick in a bottle, or?
I mean, I feel like dick in a bottle is short term, where overeating is long term. So
I don't know. It could be short term.
Mm,
And depending on how much cholesterol you have.
it could be. If you're looking for an easy way out.
Yeah.
Which,
That'd be-
let's face it, we all are.
Just eat your way out. Oh my god.
Nathan,
I mean, at least you'd be dying happy.
Nathan's over there like, if only.
That's a pretty good idea.
6,
Germany mulls introducing a mosque tax for Muslims. The idea is similar to Germany's church tax, would aim to make mosques independent of foreign donors.
This is submitted by Mania for Beatles to Our World News.
So I didn't know this was a thing in Germany. Interesting thing here, Nathan. This is not we're going to tax the church. We are not going to tax a mosque. Instead, the way that this works is that they tax the people and then they give money to fund the church or the mosque.
Funny story as well. The leaders of the Muslim faith in Germany are all for this because they think that it will help stop their dependence on foreign money, which is oftentimes what will bring in radical ideas.
Yep, and that's the big push here is because the mosque or churches used to be funded by outside entities that would be giving you money under the condition of the promotion of fundamentalist ideologies. And so if the government just pays for you to embrace your religion how you choose, then you don't have to worry about people going like, well, you know, if you want your church to stay open, I'm gonna.
And since most people are peaceful, they won't be deciding to be dickheads when it comes to killing people, you know.
Yeah, I was surprised that they even had this coming from a country where there's supposed to be a separation of church and state, whereas apparently Germany is just like, fuck that, state's gonna fund the church.
I guess the German state has funded less nefarious or more nefarious things.
Oh yeah, I suppose that's true. But at the same time, it's an interesting system. I'm just not sure if it would work in America. I'd like to think it would.
I would hope so too. But at the same time, I don't want to see our government paying those churches.
I want to see. I wonder if it functions the same way like schools do, like where you get paid per student. So instead, a church gets paid per person.
Person that shows up. Man, all those extra churches must suck.
Per person that shows up to mass.
They only have like 3 or 4 people, so they only get the budget for 3 or 4 people. That would suck ass.
Well, I mean, if they're a smaller church, then it's probably less expensive.
I mean, a building's a building, man. Costs money to upkeep.
Well, maybe there's like a base payment, and then you get more based on how many people show up.
Okay, that sounds better, but at the same time, not very great in my opinion.
I don't know. I literally have no idea how it works in Germany. I'm just throwing shitty ideas around.
Yeah, neither do I, to be fair.
So it is interesting, though. McLaughlin says government-funded religion sounds bad. Yeah, like immediately my brain's like, So I don't know.
So think about it less like this, right? It's less a government-funded religion, and it's more of a religion that takes tithes from the government.
Sure.
Because it's essentially just is what's happening here. It's not like the government's going in and is like, hey, you guys need to also say this during your Sunday mass.
I mean, we hope not anyway.
I mean, that would probably be big enough news to make an article in and of itself.
Probably, especially if a church is like, we gotta kill all the gays. It'd be like,
Oh, the Westboro Baptist, gotcha.
Defunded.
I mean, I'd be surprised if they were ever funded.
I mean, someone's funding them. Crazy people.
Yeah.
5,
You want to talk about radicals? Like, there's a fucking radical group. Anyway, Japan has decided to withdraw from the International Whaling Commission in 2019.
This is submitted by Amazing to Our World News.
Yeah, they want to do
They want
commercial.
to whale again.
Yeah, they want to whale again. So Japan said, fuck off.
Whale.
Um,
What do we have here?
Which basically Japan has decided to withdraw. Yes, under the ultimate desire to resume commercial whaling. But that said, they're doing it because they believe that the International Whaling Commission is not being true to its goal of protecting the ecosystem of whales while also protecting the industry of whaling itself.
Especially in the cultural aspect of whaling, because like Japan's not the only place that has cultural whaling.
Yeah, and so
Shit, Alaska has cultural whaling.
And so, since the International Whaling Commission isn't protecting the industry of whaling, I guess is the best way to refer to it, Japan said that they're done and out. Now, they're not. They received a lot of criticism for their scientific whaling that they did in the Antarctic Ocean. They're
Yeah,
not.
where they just went around hunting.
Yeah, they just hunted a bunch of fucking whales and then sold them. Anyway, they're not going to do that. They're only going to whale in their exclusive economic zone.
It's
so
also like
where
what
they're
they did. It's also like what they did with ivory for their honko. Like bringing ivory into the country is illegal, but if it's old ivory, you can grandfather it in. So what they do is they just forge a bunch of documents stating that their new ivory is old ivory, and boom, they can just sell regular ivory still.
Yeah. So they're going to restrict themselves to whaling within their own waters, which I
For now.
Yeah, for now. God damn it. But they're done with the International Whaling Commission. Now, it is expected
They're
that
gonna run out of whales, dude. They're not gonna stop.
yeah, that's the thing is like when you have an industry like ivory or like whaling or anything like that, like why take it to the point that it is now a dead industry for you? You are killing yourself.
Because you have to maintain certain levels of that product. Especially, all right, so for instance, if it was just a regular food source, probably wouldn't be that big of a problem, right? You would be able to maintain whaling, no problem. But these people view it as a cultural thing. They don't just eat it because it's a delicious thing. It's like they eat it because they themselves have a connection to it throughout history. So that there gives you more reason as a Japanese individual to eat whale than if it was just a regular animal that you can pick up and eat.
All right, sure.
In which case, the more people who feel that, the more people who eat whale.
It just seems weird to me, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I can understand,
but sure.
9.
Nope.
4.
There we go. Most Americans would rather spend the $5 billion Trump is demanding for the border wall on infrastructure, education, or healthcare.
you know, like our veterans even.
Sure. Who's this submitted by, sir?
This is submitted by a lot of people, right? The autarch to our politics.
Oh, so this was a poll conducted by Insider through SurveyMonkey with 1,025 respondents that basically asked, what would you rather fund? A portion of the United States-Mexico border wall, fund pre-kindergarten programs for every child in the United States for 1 year, healthcare expenses of roughly 530,000 Americans, or fund infrastructure improvements. And they broke it down by based on like what they identify as. So people who identify it as moderately or very conservative, 53% wanted the wall, 22% wanted infrastructure, 16% wanted healthcare. If they leaned slightly leaned liberal or conservative or didn't idea with either political ideology, they vastly preferred healthcare as the number one, followed by infrastructure. 39 and 32%, pre-K at 16%, and then the wall at 13%. For those that identified as moderately or very liberal, only 2% wanted to fund the wall, 49% preferring to go to healthcare, 34% on infrastructure, and 14% on pre-K.
Yeah, we have more important things than a frivolous wall.
So like, there's so many things that frustrate me about this whole wall thing, beyond the obvious ones. Like
Oh, you mean like the fact that instead of building a concrete wall, now it's steel slats? Oh, and we also just lift a bunch of tariffs on Russian steel.
Well, no, not that, but that is a fun circumstance. No, like the thing is that like $5 billion doesn't build the wall. It only builds a
It
very
doesn't.
a
It
very
doesn't
small
even
chunk of
keep
it.
it up. It doesn't even keep it upkept for that long.
The other thing is, yeah, McLaughlin says, "Wow, even liberals hate pre-K."
It's really unfortunate because pre-K is super important.
Anyway, it doesn't build the entire wall. It doesn't even build a very large section of the wall. There's also problems with the wall in general about how like the federal government doesn't own something like 70% of the border. A lot of it is private land and some of it's even native land. So good luck on that part.
Also, how it's a gigantic waste of money because it's not like you're going to be paying that one-time price for the wall. It is going to need a maintenance upkeep. And then eventually, when the next liberal president happens in about a year or two, they're just going to order for the wall to be taken down.
Well, and also, like, for instance, like the border of Mexico and Texas, the Rio de Grande River is right there, which is why that border is the way that it is. So where are you putting the wall? You can't put it in the middle of the river. You can't if you put it on Mexico's side, they're not going to want that. If you put it on our side, we're giving up the river. So yeah, that's an awkward side of things too. The other thing that like still amazes me about this entire situation, the government is currently shut down. It is the federal government is on its ninth day of being shut down over this argument about $5 billion for the border wall that Trump wants built. And what was it, like 6 months ago? The Congress was offering Trump $25 billion for the wall if he would just approve the acceptance all of the DACA recipients. And he rejected that because he didn't want to accept DACA. And so, like, he missed out on probably one of the best deals to get his wall that he possibly could have managed.
Yeah, and he just shot himself in the foot.
And now he's struggling to even get $5 billion.
Like that dumbass Mitch McConnell who fucking filibustered his own fucking bill.
Yeah, well, Mitch McConnell is really dumb.
Should probably not be in a position of power.
Like, that's the thing. Like, Mitch McConnell, I just believe is actually dumb. Like, there's some people I really don't like Leslie Graham. I really dislike them as a person, but Leslie Graham's not stupid. And that's one of the things that makes him all the more dislikable is that he is on the, like, he all of the stances that he has on the vast majority of things, I'm like, God, you are a shit-tastic person.
He's on the scheming end of the spectrum.
But he's really fucking smart and good at what he does, and I'm like, shit, you're like one of the actual bad guys. Whereas Mitch McConnell, I'm like, man, you just look like a fucking turtle that wandered into the wrong room and somebody gave you a ribbon and now you don't know what to do anymore.
You're the turtle that it gives turtles bad names.
McLaughlin says we need a modular wall that can be put up and taken down every 8 years.
That's even more expensive.
Instead, I think we need to figure out a way to...
You want to know why that's a bad idea? Because then you would have a wall that is completely and 100% above ground that you can tear down and put it back up.
You want to know what else?
Meanwhile, everybody else is continuously digging their fucking tunnels underneath the goddamn wall
they
don't give a shit.
You want to know what someone suggested to me in the last couple of weeks, Nathan?
What?
That instead of building the wall, we just annex Mexico into the United States.
Yeah, but like... GOP doesn't want that. That's more Mexicans. They're trying to build this wall to keep the Mexicans out.
Well, I don't think Mexico wants that.
No, of course not. But like, it's because of the GOP.
I don't care who it's because of. Like, the thing is like,
I'm telling you, we could totally annex Mexico if it weren't for the fact that Republicans exist.
I mean, maybe.
We'd be like, hey, yo, Mexico, you want to fucking party? And they'd be like, hell yeah. Fucking, of course we want to party. And then we'd be partying with Mexico like constantly.
So what we do is that we just slowly start to try and annex countries into America to slowly try and...
Wait a second.
What?
Isn't that what Russia's doing with Ukraine?
Yeah, it totally is, and a bunch of other countries too. They're trying to rebuild the Soviet Union, but under the Russian flag.
They're really trying to manifest that destiny.
Oh yeah, then it's time for us to start trying. We got two big neighbors that'll give us a nice jump start. We get either of them, and we're bigger than Russia on the world scale.
There you go. There you go.
So what we do is we get Mexico, and then from Mexico we can weasel our way into South America, and then we can just become America. Not the United States of America, just America. All of North, all of South America, it all just becomes America. One big super country across two continents.
I'm just saying, right? So, like Joseph says, we as Republicans don't want Mexico. And I was thinking, yeah, that's right, because you can't deport them to Mexico if they're already citizens.
Damn. So, and then from there, I mean, so what we actually do, Nathan, we annex Mexico, and then we slowly annex all of South America so that we're all one country. And then we're like, Canada, come on, buddy. You just want to be part of this. And then once we own officially the entirety of the top of North America to the southern tip of South America, then we build just one giant wall in the middle of the ocean all the way around the fucking continent. Just America or nothing.
All right.
Whatever happens outside when Russia takes over everything outside of the massive wall, we don't care.
Okay, but what about jets that can fly over the wall?
That's not. I mean, if we're not going to be,
that's when we press the button.
If we're not worried about
towers in the wall open up and they have Tesla coils that when something flies by, it zaps them with electricity.
If we're not worried about the jets that are flying over the walls that we're trying to build right now, we won't be worried about them in 50 years.
I mean, they're practically our friends already.
Yeah, so it's fine.
Yeah.
It's mostly just to keep the Atlanteans from illegally immigrating into America.
Well, we got to keep those damn Atlanteans out. This is why we need this wall. I'll tell you why. Because those no good water breathing sons of bitches coming into our goddamn country trying to take all the clean water for themselves, not even trying to put forth any effort to integrate into our society. They're just trying to usurp whatever presidency we have so that we can follow the king of fucking Atlantis. All the meanwhile, he's taking all of our fresh water. Flint doesn't even have water still. And you're thinking we should be giving it to these damn Atlanteans? That's some bullshit. We need to turn our efforts inwards.
They're not even human.
Because we don't need no good, dirty, rotten, fish-smelling like fish people.
Man, Nathan, how quick
around with their big old lips everywhere?
How quickly what do you think is the percentage of the Earth that immediately becomes overwhelmingly xenophobic the moment any form of intelligent alien life exists, whether it's merfolk or fucking Martians?
I'll tell you now, like percentage of the world, probably a good hard 75%.
Yeah, okay.
maybe even a bit higher, 80 or so, because it really depends. Like all right, so like let's rewind this. If aliens come to Earth and if fish people come from the waters, if they don't look in some fashion like us, we immediately want to kill them.
So merfolk might be okay.
Well, even then, you're kind of like, I feel like merfolk has a higher margin of success rate than aliens, because with merfolk, you can at least like claim that you're half human. So like they come to the shore, people are like, oh my God, it's like the Little Mermaid. And then they go and try to parlay with the merfolk, but then they realize it's more like Aquaman, and some of the merfolk are giant D-bags, and they take their tridents lined with fucking conch shells, and they stab into your bodies, weak from being above surface and not knowing the crushing pressure of miles upon miles of ocean water.
Yeah, that one. All right, anyway.
3.
Dan Rather asks Trump, what's more marginal, believing in Santa at age 7 or not believing in climate change at 72?
Damn, would you rather? This is submitted by Barney23 to Our Politics.
This is in response to a aired phone call that Donald Trump had on Christmas
Where he
Eve.
legitimately asked a 7-year-old if they still believe in Santa, and they were like, yes. And he's like, oh yeah, it's because you're like, it's more marginal, right? Or some shit like that.
Something along those lines. But then of course, in traditional fashion of America, every single every single politician and political pundit on the planet was just like, Twitter.
I'm just saying, it's kind of like a shitty thing to say to a 7-year-old.
Yeah. It's also a shitty thing to completely deny an entire climate report and claim that America's air and water are record clean.
That's not even proper English.
I mean, record clean. You know, even though you just brought up Flint not too long ago, and parts of Alabama are in a state where they are considered on the level of third world countries or worse.
It amazes me. It truly does how much this administration hates our people.
They like themselves, but that's pretty normal for extremely rich people.
Not our people. It's like the rich people aren't even subject to being citizens. They do whatever they want.
In a lot of ways, they're not. And it's not even just Trump. It's just people that are that high up on totem poles. The world is a different place for them.
What affiliation do they have to a country when they have affiliation to money?
Yeah, that's pretty true. Oh, man. People suck. Come on. There we go.
2.
White referee fired after forcing black wrestler to cut dreadlocks.
This is submitted by Dragon Pup to Our News.
Yeah, so Alan Maloney, who is the white referee that forced the black high school wrestler Andrew Johnson to cut his dreadlocks.
More like Adam Baloney.
Is no longer going to be working for the Buena Regional School District because guy.
It's pretty racist.
Yeah. It's pretty not okay.
I ultimately feel for the wrestler who had to cut his hair because I know how long it takes to get dreadlocks.
Well, and even beyond that, I mean,
it's not like I'm going down to the fucking barber shop and I'm getting dreadlocks today. It takes a lot longer than that.
Well, and also the high schooler was having a very successful wrestling career and has chosen to just not wrestle for the unforeseen future because of the media attention this has garnered and because of the embarrassment that they feel. They're like, I just kind of want to hide right now. And I'm like,
absolutely.
You have given this child therapy for years now.
And not only that, but he claims it was because it's not a natural hair state, but dreadlocks is pretty much a natural hair state for a lot of black people, just because of how their hair is. Their hair is so much different than white hair.
You want to know what? Dreadlocks are probably more natural than the fucking paintbrush that half of us are walking around with up on our heads at this point.
Yeah. So, yeah, there's no reason that guy's a dickhead.
I mean,
seeing as how he had gotten to the final round and nobody else gave a shit.
Yeah, so like it's fucking stupid.
Yeah, it is a clear-cut case of racism.
Well, I wish...
And racists have no place in this earth anymore.
I wish you luck, Andrew Johnson. I hope you're able to get past this and able to... If you do want to return to wrestling, I hope you enjoy a successful career in it. Otherwise, I hope you're able to go on and do great things.
In the least, like wrestle for WW, right?
Hells yeah.
1.
Hospitals will have to post prices online starting January 1st.
This is submitted by Psych Siren to Our News.
So this is one of the things that has been being pushed by the Trump administration, and it's going to go into effect on January 1st of 2019. It's going to require hospitals to post a list of their standard prices online and make electronic medical records more readily available to patients. Now, it's already a concern, a requirement that hospitals have their prices posted. they just don't have to make them easily available. This will change that. Now, that said, it doesn't help you that much beyond going, that's a really fucking big number, because it doesn't tell you anything along the lines of what insurance you have, how much your insurance covers, what your copay is, what your deductible is, what your annual limit is.
What they should do is they should set up wizards so that when you go to the website, you start inputting some information about your insurance and put information about how you're feeling, about certain areas, and it works it through a database to give you a very, very rough estimate for what you're looking at.
Yeah. Or, we just fucking nuke the way that the medical care in this country operates.
You
would
have to put in so much legislation. You would have to make it to where pharmaceutical companies can't charge more than, X percent. Then you would, I don't know. It takes a lot, but
it does. Sounds
I
worth
do
it.
believe that it is for the benefit to switch to socialized medicine, because if it works for veterans, then it should work for us.
Yeah.
And it's not working for veterans because the VA sucks. But you shouldn't point to the VA and be like, yo, look, it's just going to suck for everybody else. Because, as my dad said over the weekend, people corrupt and line their pockets. So
yep,
really need to start educating people, put money into education, and teach people that these people aren't out for them and are out for their own pockets.
Yeah, I'm real sick of the way that medical care. What the fuck? Go back to where the fuck you're supposed. What the hell? All right. Anyway.
The two important things that need to change in this country is medical and education.
Did I fix it? Is it done being dumb? I don't know. Is it? Yeah, it looks like it's back in the right spot. Anyway,
and they're both being changed currently, just not for the better for the most part.
Oh shit!
Listener submission. Patreon deplatforms Sargon of Akkad.
This is submitted by Chadwick via Facebook. So
Chadwick had mentioned this in the chat last 2 weeks ago, and then had made a request to actually submit it as a topic for this week's discussion. And so basically, what it is that Patreon, if you don't know, is a crowdfunding platform for creators. You go on there and you're like, hey, I'll give you $1 a month. I'll give you $5 a month if you just keep making your podcast, your YouTube series, your whatever, your Tumblr blog, although that's probably dead now because you most likely drew porn and Tumblr told you to get the fuck out. Anyway. So all of that said, we also use Patreon. Our Patreon is patreon.com/dailyinternet. And recently, British YouTuber Sargon of Akkad was completely removed from Patreon. His entire Patreon was just axed, which completely removed an immense amount of his income, his revenue, the things that he used to sustain himself to continue processing videos. And it created a lot of outcry because he was a more right-leaning YouTuber, and people on the farther right side of the political spectrum are struggling more and more and more to find a platform to where they can speak, because the world is, well, honestly, just trying to shut them out. And Patreon is on that same boat, essentially, of shutting them out. And the reason they gave is not because he is a right-wing guy or anything like that. They shut him out because of the use of hate speech. The part of their terms of service and stuff is that you can't be a fucking hate speech throwing, slinging piece of shit. Offensive and racist content is not something that they support. Now, the argument here is like, well, he wasn't saying things on Patreon. Patreon has responded to this and was like, well, the thing is that most content isn't on Patreon. There is a platform for you to exist on Patreon to get funding to create your content in other places. So Patreon does review what you do in other places. In which case, he was in a interview on YouTube, and I'll just read the paragraph that that Patreon posted as part of why they have removed him. I will be censoring myself though, because holy jeez. I just can't be bothered with people who choose to treat me like this. It's really annoying. Like, you're acting like a bunch of N-words. Just so you know, you're acting like white N-words. Exactly how you describe black people acting is the impression I get dealing with the alt-right. I'm just not in the mood to deal with this kind of disrespect. Look, you carry on, but you don't expect me to have the debate with one of you F-words, for a derogatory term for gay people at this point. Like, why would I bother? You're acting like a bunch of N-words, mate. Have you considered that? Do you think white people act like this? White people are meant to be polite and respectful to one another, and you guys can't even act like white people. It's really amazing to me. And so Patreon posted that little transcript of the interview that he was in and said he is using racial slurs. He is being racist and derogatory towards an entire group of people. And so we are not going to tolerate this, and we are not allowing him on the platform anymore.
To which he responded by defending himself, saying that he was trying to use their own language against them, and he also emphasized that his targets were not black or homosexual, and also claimed that the N-word is not offensive in Britain like it is in the United States. But it very much is offensive in Britain, to the point where even in the 70s, somebody who is reading a story that had the N-word in it had a bunch of complaints, and the description was changed to as black as suit in the book instead of as black as the N-word. So like even in the 70s, they were very hesitant on using the word.
So the thing is like, while I can understand why people are upset about this, because this is another person that is on the more right side of the aisle, or however you want to refer to it, that is in one way or another being silenced or censored. The thing is, Patreon is well within their rights to do this. Like, they don't owe you anything. They don't owe me. They don't own Sargon of Akkad. They don't owe Philip DeFranco. They don't owe Jim Sterling. They don't owe the oh crap, what is their name? The good gaming people. I forget what their name is. Anyway,
Game Grumps?
No, the people that created their channel after game trailers got shut down. I forget what their name is.
Oh yeah, okay.
Anyway, they don't owe you guys or us anything. They're providing a service, and much like how, I mean, let's take this the other direction. Much like how a guy can choose not to provide service to people because he religiously does not support gay people, and can choose not to make them a cake.
These people this company is choosing not to endorse this person because of his views.
So, like, I understand why you're upset, and the lack of alternative to Patreon is a problem for that, in which a Canadian professor, Jordan Peterson, who is a divisive figure who positions himself against political correctness.
Can't fucking answer where he finds his own goddamn sources.
Sure. But in any case, he has vowed to create an alternative to Patreon, which, great. Competition is good for everybody. But that said, Patreon is well within their right to do this. There's no issue with what they did here. I understand why you might have an issue with it, but I mean, it's shitty. But it's like, honestly, this is no different than when somebody is like on Twitter being a horribly just fucked up person, and they're
think about it like this, right? It's shitty, but if you weren't such a shitty individual, you wouldn't be in this situation.
Well, and also, like I was saying, if someone's a really shitty person on Twitter and then their boss finds out about it and they're like, no, you're fired, like, that's how that works.
Yeah.
Like, or like all of the like, we'll go into another comparison, the Me Too movement that's going on, and the number of people that are being ousted from whatever industry they're in over it. And it's like, what? I didn't molest people while I was on the job. And it's like, yeah, that's nice and all. Goodbye. Like,
yeah. And when you're a guy who's describing Harvey Weinstein's sexual abuse accusers as gold-digging whores, then maybe you don't need to be funded.
So, like, I do understand why you're upset that a voice is being silenced, but it's not an assault on free speech. It's no different than somebody getting fired. The issue here is not Patreon. The issue here is that the world is changing to a point where people like Sargon of Akkad are not welcome.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, it is now moving to a point where those people are the people that get to be silent in themselves and enjoy their personal little groups in, you know, people's basements, because the world is not open to tolerating that kind of behavior anymore.
Mm-hmm. Like, we are done with assholes.
Like, well, we got a long way to go before we can say we're done with assholes.
No, no, no. We are done with assholes. We just have to put up with them until we get them out of here.
So, and like, yeah, it's upsetting, and it probably pisses a lot of people off, and it's completely nuked a lot of the ability for Sargon of Akkad to operate. But that's one of the things that you have to be aware of when you decide to, like, I'm not saying that you can't go out there and be one of those people. But that said,
just realize that you're not going to be funded.
Yeah, like
and if you are, it's going to be real hard to get.
You have hurdles that you have to overcome if you want to operate in that space. And even when you're successful in that space, let's look at someone like Alex Jones. If you take it too far, you still run the risk of your entire seat being ripped out from under you.
Yeah, like, when you are an entertainer, you have to walk a fine line, because even in the entertainment industry, you can't say everything.
Well,
you have to keep your image.
I don't even think it's necessarily about being an entertainer specifically, just in any capacity. I mean, we can go and look at like Saddam Hussein, who literally had his everything ripped out from under him and then was hung because he was a bad person.
It's true. It's true.
But there was a lot of people that didn't think he was a bad person.
Which is weird, but I mean, to each their own, I guess.
Your goddamn chair.
Yeah, I need a new one.
So yeah, I don't have anything else to say on the matter there, but there you go. That's what happened, and
yeah,
moving on.
Well, there you go.
I'm Mr. Meeseeks. Look at me, Nathan. What did you care about in the last 2 weeks?
Fucking Slay the Spires is really. Slay the Spires is one of the best card games I've ever made. Or not that I've ever. Fuck, I'm tired. I got 2 hours because I went to sleep after running through 3 flights of areas and Slay the Spires, as running with a Shiv build because I really liked it. But I think what I cared about more is that Jack Black has his own YouTube channel now.
Jablinski Games.
And he's got 2 videos. One's 29 seconds and the other's 50 seconds. And he has already like almost 2 million subscribers.
Yeah, he had 1 million subscribers in like 4 days.
1,876,926 subscribers.
Yeah, he hit 1 million in like 4 days.
Everybody's just like, wait, Jack Black, the Jack Black playing video games?
You want to know the interesting thing about it? It's his son's idea, and his son is being his producer.
Yeah. I love it. Yo, his son's a genius. His son needs to win a goddamn award of some kind.
I mean, they're already going to get mailed like 3 of the YouTube Let's Play buttons or whatever.
So I also found out, I didn't know, I found out why Fear Factor got canceled the second time.
Oh, enlighten me.
So TMZ caught wind of a challenge they had to do and posted like pictures about it and everything, and it freaked everybody out to the point where it got canceled again. And the challenge they had to do involved drinking horse cum, or not horse cum, donkey cum. Now I know what you're thinking. Well, it's Fear Factor, right? If you complete your challenges, you shouldn't have to be drinking that donkey cum. Well, that's where you're wrong. Even if they completed the challenges, they had to drink a minimum of 1 ounce of donkey cum. If you failed all your challenges, you could drink up to like 10 ounces of donkey cum. And because TMZ caught wind of this and posted pictures and everything, everyone got freaked out, and they were like, I don't want to go to Fear Factor or watch Fear Factor. That's a bunch of donkey cum. I also found out how they got all of that donkey cum.
Do you think it would have been as big of a deal if they would have went with like piss?
Well, it was either donkey cum or donkey piss, and a lot of the women were choosing the cum. A lot of the men too, actually. Come to think of it.
Anyway,
I'm just saying though. I found out how they got all that cum. Apparently, what they do is they take the donkey, of course. They put a bucket right next to his little Peter there, and then they take a cattle prod and shove it up its ass and zap its prostate, and it just comes buckets. And I thought about it for a second. And I was like, yeah, same.
All right, I'm just gonna move on now. I don't even know what to say to
What
this.
you don't want to talk about donkey cum?
I don't know what to say to this conversation.
Buckets upon buckets of donkey cum? That is what I cared about this week. I cared about donkey cum.
God damn it. So the thing
That'll be the name of this episode. We need to change it from stepping into 2019 to stepping into donkey cum.
No.
Yeah.
So the thing I cared about is that Macaulay Culkin, one, is having a fantastic like resurgence after he got himself cleaned up, but two is he is legally changing his middle name to Macaulay Culkin.
Yo, I'm really upset that it wasn't Kieran, his brother's name.
Yeah.
But there's some like pretty good names on there. One of them was Publicity Stunt.
Shark Week.
Shark Week was good.
The McRib is back.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Macaulay the McRib is back. Culkin.
Now it's Macaulay Culkin.
Yep. So yeah, he got clean.
It amazes me. I never realized it, but Macaulay Culkin's a very Irish name.
He's enjoying a fun little resurgence of just like he got off of all the shit that he was ruining his life with, and like he had a really wonderful Home Alone commercial for Alexa.
What I'm saying is he's probably on that shit that ruined his life because of Neverland Ranch.
Yeah.
Like he probably got fucked up from this kind of shit that Michael Jackson was pulling on him and fell into drugs.
Maybe.
I'm just glad he's turning his life around.
The thing is he seems to just be having fun at this point. Like he put out a poll of what people wanted him to change his middle name into. He did this really wonderful Home Alone callback for a commercial for Alexa, I think it was.
I mean, shit. He probably still has Home Alone money coming in because Home Alone's like one of the biggest fucking Christmas fucking movies ever.
Good
next
chance.
To Die Hard, so it's constantly playing on TV. So he gets likeness rights.
And he also has just been like starting to show up on just random YouTube channels to like talk with people and play games and shit because he's just filling his time with whatever he wants to do.
Did you see the Home Alone reenactment?
The commercial one?
Yeah.
Where he's an adult?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I'm tired. No, that was really good. I enjoyed that a lot. He also still looks way older than he should, but drugs do that to you. He looks a lot better than when he was on drugs.
Yeah,
He's
only like 35 or something like that, and he looks in his 40s.
When he was on drugs, though, he looked like he was in his 60s. 70s.
Yeah, he looked rough. But congratulations to him for cleaning himself up and getting clean, and yeah.
And I want to see you and Kieran do a collaborated movie sometime.
At that point, though, Nathan, you got anything else, or shall we work on moving out of here?
I think we should work on moving out because I need to go back to sleep.
You sleepy? All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Please remember you can help support this show by going to patreon.com/dailyinternet, picking up merchandise from our link below. Also, you can follow and share the show on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Reddit. All of those are at iReaditCast. Also, remember that you can send anything you want us to talk about, whether it's a news story, a topic, a theory, a hypothesis, or you just want our opinion on a video game or whatever it is. You can also send it to all those same platforms. You can follow me on social media at Schwan Michael and Nathan Ed Bimmenstein. That is your 527th dose of the internet. I am Michael Schwan.
And I am a meat-flavored popsicle.
And please remember, everybody.
Well, I didn't vote for you.
Goodbye.
До свидания.